As you guys know, I'm a big fan of the art style of the Ghibli movies, and I spent a lot of time learning how to recreate or come as close as I can to this style in 3D. So this week we're going to be using photoscanned assets to create stylized and hand-painted wood. So let's get into the video. So the first step is to get your model of your photoscanned asset into Substance Painter. I used sketchfab.com to download a free model, and from here you can use the auto unwrap feature of Substance Painter to do the most of the work for you. If you import it as a GLTF, it'll also give you the textures and all of the information that you need from the maps ready to go. And since Substance Painter is so intuitive and has a great baking system, I just go ahead and bake all of the maps right on the spot. Now with the model fully imported and all of the maps baked, we're ready to get to work. So the first step is really easy, and I'm going to be using a lot of techniques from my previous video. What we're going to do first is create a base layer, and we're going to use a nice vibrant brown for that. We're also going to be working in only the color channel, just like last time. The first few layers, we're going to be establishing color variation in our wood, which is, in my opinion, the most important step. So what we're going to do is create another layer, name it color variation 1, whatever you want, add a black mask, and then right click and add a fill. From here, we can easily drag and drop any of these pre-made grunges into the grayscale slot. And if you watch my other videos, you'll know that right after this, we're going to right click, add a filter, and we're going to add the blur slope to give it a bit of a hand-painted look. And just like that, you can see it already looks pretty good. Now, the great thing with working with procedural textures is that everything is reusable and changeable. So go ahead, right click and duplicate that one. And then you can just simply change the values inside, such as the color. You can change the grayscale map. You can change the scale like I'm doing right now. And you can change the rotation to create essentially a completely different texture later on top of the one under it. And as you start to put the layers in, don't be afraid to put in bolder colors since this is art. Don't be afraid to put in oranges, greens, and blues into the mix as well. And again, you don't have to copy me exactly. It's really fun sometimes just to pause the video and mess around with the colors and shapes and see what interesting combinations you can get. And you can see with just a super simple texturing and layering technique, we've already created a somewhat interesting texture. And just like the layer before, we're going to layer one more on top. You don't have to do this, but I tend to layer things in threes. And this time I used a slightly different map just to break up the texture variation a bit. Once again, don't be afraid to experiment with the colors. Trees, especially in art and stylized art, have a lot of color variation in them, and you'd be surprised what variation of colors you can squeeze in. And again, during this step, if you get lost, don't worry, I've provided the Substance Painter file for you guys as well, the one I've worked on, so you can stop the video and reference my texturing process as well, or even copy and paste it over to continue on. And after a bit of tweaking, I end up with something like this. I'm very happy with it. It's bright, it's extremely happy, and it's going to look even better once we add the next layer, which is ambient occlusion. So go ahead and add another layer, add a black mask, and add the ambient occlusion generator. This is going to fill in the cracks using the map information to almost create shadows. Don't forget to set it to multiply and mess with the settings to get the look that you want. And you can see just with those few layers, we've created really, really great depth to it and a ton of different color variation. Now for the final step, just like everything else, don't forget to put a bit of slope blur on it, just to add that hand-painted look into the shadows as well. Something important to remember as well is that in nature, blacks aren't truly black, at least not completely. They're always slightly different colors. So in nature, typically the darks are filled with moss and dirt, so you could either do a dark brown, but in this, just to contrast the orange, I went with a darker green. You can make this a little more vibrant if you want, or you can go with a standard dark green color. Totally up to you. Now to turn this into a smart material, all you have to do is create a new folder, name it something you can remember, and then drag and drop everything into that folder. And then all you have to do is right click on the folder and create smart material. And then you're done. So now you can basically take that smart material on any other object, simply drag and drop it, change it however you want, tweak it, and then you've got a brand new material. And just because I wanted to show you guys how easy it is, that's when you drag and drop it, it basically does it for you and you're all done. It's a super versatile material, and you can also just take these techniques to make your own as well. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Here's the final result. This was a bit of a halfway point. This wasn't really a full tutorial. I'll be doing some more bigger projects and teaching you guys about anchor points in the next one. So looking forward to see what you guys will make with this one. See you around.